Hey everybody, that song was just for Joe because he was asking me today, hey, what happened to that other song I like to dance to? So
I love that one. That's
up
my
here,
favorite one.
that's your favorite one?
That's my
Why
favorite.
is it just kind of because it's kind of catchy, kind of upbeat?
Here we go, baby.
So far into Chat Mars Comic Double S and Masonic Lodge number 0. That must be the
Whoa.
original. The
Yeah, what's going
original.
on? The original. What's going on, Pete?
Yeah.
We can
The
start
from
now.
what? When did the Masonic Lodge start, Joe? What year or
The
decade?
original Masonic Lodge, as we know it today, started in the 1600s.
So is it this one from the 1600s right here? This is the
No.
original. The OG. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, I'm disappointed. I thought
You
it'd be
should be.
something that was. I see Huey wearing the Brony T-shirt again. Yes, I'm wearing it today. I'm
Yes.
wearing it. So thanks everybody so far for jumping into chat. We'll jump into the comics here in a second. We know Mike's gone today. He was feeling a little under the weather. I was feeling under the weather the past couple of days as well because I went and got my first.
Kicking ass right now.
So I took today off work and read some comics, watched a whole bunch of movies and stuff. And what did I watch? I watched Hostels today with Christian Bale. That was a good movie. I hadn't seen that. That came out in 2017. And then I just got done watching, right before jumping on the show, Django Unchained. I haven't seen that in a while either. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to watch that new what I can't think of his name. The guy who plays Aquaman, his new movie on Netflix, that Sweet Child or whatever it is. Oh God, that's such a turd, dude. I got 15, 20 minutes into it. I said, I'm done. I am totally done.
I'm like 2 seconds away from deleting Netflix because they haven't really put anything out good in a while.
No, not really. Not any original content outside of like some of the series and stuff like that have been okay. But the movies they've been putting out lately have been just nothing but garbage. Yeah. So that's what it seemed like for sure. But yeah, it was just kind of a laid back day, drinking coffee, reading comics, watching movies. You know, didn't want to do too much. Didn't want to get myself any sicker than what I was. So, what else you been doing?
Let's see here. Today I worked, hung out with Legion of Comics over in their channel while I was working today. After I was done off work, I went out into the Evil Lair and started picking out components that I may want to do for the next project. Yeah, I finally saw the first episode of Teen Titans, so I got through that. Other than that, I've just been, doing my things around town and had some Legion meetings and some Masonic Lodge meetings this week. And it looks like I volunteered for the local STEM program for the mechanical portion of it. They've asked me to kind of come on and be a mentor in that. So I'll be working with young kids that are building some sort of mechanical device, trying to help anywhere that I can. So that's going to be fun. I like doing that kind of stuff. So yeah.
You putting you're interjecting your evil Joe and all these kids out there. We're going to have hundreds of little evil Joes running around creating stuff. That's scary.
I'm going to create
little henchmen.
AIM, and I'm going to be MODOK. It's going to be awesome. Sleepy Reader just jumped into the room, and so did Ms. So welcome. Damien,
welcome.
a.k.a. Sleepy Reader.
That's right. His name's Damien. Yeah, I was wondering about like a project for you, and I saw it somewhere, and it's the Doctor Strange shields. Where he summons up those little shields on his hand. Would that be hard to make? You think?
Depends on how we want to do it. If we want to, because everything has to have a function to it. I don't make just costumes type stuff. So if we wanted to make them where they were like flashlights and they could shine a light while you did it, we could do something like that. We could make them bulletproof. We can make them bulletproof.
Do you want to test out the bulletproofness of them when we're there? Have Mike hold one of them. You shoot one with maybe a low caliber.
I really do want to do that, but I don't think that's going to swing. Besides, I already got all the components that we need for the laser, so we'll shoot them with the laser.
Oh yes. Yeah. I heard you talking a little bit about that on Legion of Comics
Yeah.
this morning. It was talking about you went to the city and they denied you to be
They
able
were
to.
like, no, you may damage the water tower. And I was like, are you being serious right now? What do you think I did? But that's okay
I
because we may end up making two lasers actually, because I came up with a really great idea because I had more components than I actually needed. So we may do one that's a straight beam type of thing where it can like light matches and burn tiny holes, and then we'll probably make one that actually shows like a function of like a show, like they do in concerts. So we may make two
mhm.
different types of lasers. I don't know yet. We're still working on it. And I say we because I
um
have many personalities in this head.
yeah, you're talking to Joe 2.0 there. Um yeah, that's interesting. I remember one Halloween, like I made this Gatling gun for a costume that I made out of like an old Makita drill, and the barrels actually turned and everything.
Yeah.
I got a video of it. I had a handle, I'd hold it, it turned. And I happened to be by the police station doing some other for work, talking to them. And I'm like, yeah, if you get any reports of some guy walking with a big Gatling gun in town, that's going to be me. They're like, where are you going to be? They wanted to know what neighborhood I was going to be in, just in case. Can you paint it orange? And I said,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to paint it orange.
Yeah.
I have a video on my Facebook page of me making it, or it was almost done, but I got the whole barrel turned down and stuff. It turned out pretty good for what it was. But
What'd you make it out of?
like I said, an old 9.6 Makita, the old with the
Yeah.
long slender batteries. So I turned that upside down. That was
Yeah.
my handle on the back, and I created a grip back there with a spring on it that pushed the actuated the drill, and
Yeah.
then like a piece of 3 or 4 inch PVC, and then cut some wood discs to go inside that, and then like 1.5 inch PVC around in that to cut the holes in, stuck it inside so they turned. It turned out, turned out pretty good. I ended up using it to mix some paint one time in a big bucket that I needed to mix after Halloween. So I ended up getting rid of it. But enough about that. Let's jump into the comic books. And what we do here is we buy the comics that come out Comic Book Wednesday. We give them a read. We blast the books we hate. We stash the books we like. And we'll go ahead and jump into them. We got 6 people watching. Anybody else jumping here? Mars was saying, no, don't do that. I think it's talking about shooting Mike or something. I'm not sure. Maybe. Mike's not here to defend himself right now. So Miss So said the room tours were awesome, by the way. Thank you for jumping in and checking that out after the fact. We didn't miss you in the live chat. That would have been awesome to have you there. If there's something else too in our room tours that you want to see more of or whatever, let one of us know. Like it was part of Joe's, part of mine, part of Mike's. Let us know. Like maybe go on a little deeper tour with it. Maybe talking about some of the books we like in our collection and stuff. What's he saying? And Michael is feeling down, so he took him to Pound Town. God, those guys, they have a relationship all to their own. Damien says there are 10 live shows in my feed right now. Everyone does Friday night.
Yeah, everybody does.
But Mars says, true, Sleepy Reader, but this is the best one. I feel so warm in the cockles of my heart. Makes me feel good. Appreciate that. But let's go and jump into books. Joe, give us your first book for the evening.
Oh, I'm going first? I wasn't ready for that. Let's go ahead and talk about Batman, Secret Files, Clown Hunter. Bum, bum, bum. All right, so we get yet another tragedy that has happened to Clown Hunter. Apparently, after the tragic death of his family, there was some leftover money, trust fund type money. He gets sent to a prep school, and all the rich white kids want to put, heal the face on him all the time, right? And this is where you kind of got this kind of grittiness to him. This, you can only whip a donkey till I can't feel it anymore type theory, right? It just grows the calluses, right? That happens to him here. But now my concern is too much trauma, too much of a traumatized character really does take away from what the character does a lot because, he's just resilient at that point. I find that I didn't much care about that. I did think it was interesting how the new Red Hood, or the new philosophy of Red Hood, kind of, people should die, but I don't need to be killing them type aspect to him now. It's like, hey, I can teach you to do this better. So Batman's already done this. Red Hood's done it. He's blowing everybody off, walking his own path. Um, I think I like that. I don't know. Let's see, the motives of why that needs to happen. Why he just doesn't. You're like, yeah, Red Hood. Yeah, you drop bodies. I want to be your bud. But like he has to have some sort of relationship outside of what he does because that's what humanizes a character when you read them. But apparently, I don't think we're getting that with this character. I hope I'm wrong. But I do, for the most part, like the character. I just don't want to be the constant, tormented, grieving soul that has a baseball bat that loves to, answer his solutions that way. That's not very heroic. That's very one-dimensional. And I would like a little bit more depth into, I don't know, something other than trauma in him. I think that would be kind of cool. But for the most part, it's still a stash. I'm not blasting this book. It's just my awkward criticisms of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a one and done, the Batman file. So it does get a little deeper into the backstory of Clown Hunter, like you're talking. But I do agree with you, too, a little bit on it, because when he started fighting back, I felt it was justified. Don't get me wrong. He needed to defend himself. I get that, because he was constantly getting brutalized and teased and beat up by these guys where he needed to step back. But I don't know. To me, it felt like it took it to a level where, like, okay, I don't support him. I don't feel the same way. I don't feel like it's enough, But so overall, I do like to have a little more backstory in Clown Hunter. That's important, I think, moving forward with this character. We need to kind of know where he came from. He beats people up with physics books, which I thought that was kind of funny.
That was physics, opposite equal reaction. That was great.
Yeah.
That's with a bunch.
And of course, we get punchline a little bit more in here too. Overall, and I think Red Hood would be a good mentor for him, since Clown Hunter's kind of headed that direction. He doesn't want to listen to Batman. He wants to be able to kill without, having any remorse. And Red Hood kind of has that. That's going to be his. What's the kid's name? What's the, not Usagi Yojimbo, the guy from Miyagi? He's going to be his Mr. Miyagi. That's who's going to be. Mr. A little more morally on the wrong side of stuff, Mr. Miyagi.
A matured character.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be what Red Hood has become now, a little bit more matured.
Is it? Yeah, beating people up with a crowbar is mature.
Could shoot him in the face.
I guess. Could just blow the brains out.
What's going on, Chip Calvin?
Hey, yeah, I missed your invite to the Legion show because I was trying to get ready to jump on it, because I didn't think you want me coming on there half naked and everything on their live show. I was like, oh, yeah, I gotta get ready. Got to get, it's time to put on makeup. It's time to light the lights. And I didn't want to just go on all unprepared, so I was trying to get all ready to roll. I picked up Moon Knight number 2. I ended up picking up the Peach Momoko cover. Anytime I hear Peach Momoko now, I go, oh, why'd I order that? This one isn't too bad. This is not a horrible Peach Momoko cover. Oh, you got that one too. So in this one here, we find out, that the old people in this building or in this town are like getting zombified, essentially. They're getting mind controlled. And we find out it's from the sweat from the janitor that's running the thing, and he's putting his sweat into the water system, which is controlling them. That was kind of a weird concept, the whole thing. And Moon Knight's trying to figure it out, because he's running this midnight mission, right? So he goes out with the soldier, I think that's what they call him, or the vet in here. And he thinks he's trying to save the vet. Vet's trying to get to his weapons, but to find out the vet is actually part of that group as well. So right. Moon Knight says, you know what? I'm going to give in. I'm going to take your sweat. I'm going to lick it right off my freaking Moon Knight knife thing.
Right? Was that kind of cringy? Like
that was really weird.
Lick your sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. But the cool part of it was too, and I said, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on Moon Knight and his backstory, but I did think it was cool that, since this guy is able to control people, with the sweat, through their minds over that. But he was not prepared for Moon Knight's mind and how crazy that is. And it kind of drove that guy insane, where he's able to break free all the rest of the people that were in this building to move forward. That was kind of interesting, I thought. but overall, I mean, I want to see more of this. What's the guy's name? The opposite of Moon Knight, the dark.
Hunter Moon.
Yeah, I want to see more of him. And I know maybe he's just lurking in the background. He's getting his minions to do whatever he wants, and that's his goal right now, to try to break Moon Knight, I guess, or take over. But it's still a stash for me. I thought it was okay. The sweat licking thing was a little weird for me, but I got over it pretty quick because of the whole mind control thing and how Moon Knight's absolutely crazy. So it's a stash. Yeah. What about you?
I absolutely I thought this was interesting because this is a very, very classic way to tell a story, right? So the first issue just kind of reminded you who he was, just kind of update those people that are just jumping on. Mm-hmm. And then we got introduced to our possible antagonist in it, our villain, who's probably not going to be like a straight villain. I think it's going to be an awkward of motives that's going to happen. And that's interesting to me. I like reading that kind of stuff. But here we see that, the evil plan, if you will, is in motion, right? Because even the sweaty hypnotist guy, he's like, hey, I'm not the guy that comes up with the plans. I just work for the guy that does. I'm not that imaginative. So I was like, oh, okay. So this is hopefully what we can see is possibly this Hunter Moon guy working in the background, or maybe even another villain, whatever the case may be. But we see that we're going to have a story with a lot of depth into it, a lot of things going on in it, and that intrigues me. And the whole Egyptian religious part of it, I always love religious stories based in religion. They fascinate me. And so now we have a left and right hand of God, and there's going to be a conflict between them. So I think that's going to be interesting. So, yeah, I'm digging this. I'm on board with it. But it wasn't my pick of the week. Dun, dun, dun.
I like how the chat is actually talking about Moon Knight as we're reviewing it here, too. Mars said she liked Moon Knight for the most part, too. Double S said Moon Knight 2 is a good read for me as well. Definitely a stash. Going to get the Tyler Kirkham variant. Oh, yeah. And Blastin says getting close to 900, too. Nice. Yeah, we've been teasing 900 for a year. We have not broke that 900 mark. But I did get a couple new subscribers tonight. I was going through checking some other channels out tonight.
Oh, sweet.
But you're up now with your book.
Oh, yeah, it is my turn. For some reason,
without having that third person here, it ping-pongs it back and forth pretty quick.
It rolls fast, doesn't it? Hey, if there was something, if you want us to review it and you don't want it to end up in the lightning round, please put it in the chat. One of us has it, whatever it is you picked up. Unless it's like some indie book that nobody likes. Okay. Let's talk about Kang. Kang the Conqueror, number 1.
Oh, yeah.
So this book's weird. I don't know. And I said this on my own review. I don't know if I like this or not. It was because basically we're dealing with time and we're dealing with the multiverse, and we don't really know if Kang went back in time or if he jumped into another multiverse to grab a younger version of himself. Regardless, he grabbed a younger version of himself and went to prehistoric times, right? Young kids, what do young kids do? They get horny and they fall in love. So, he falls in love with, and this kind of threw me off. I'll go ahead and say it. They were very accurate about the time period and the different things going on there, right? But then their depiction of this particular cave woman, and thinking about it, technically it should have been more like a Neanderthal or the thing below a Neanderthal, but whatever. You got to have a sexy character, right? So Earth gets destroyed. He has to beat up Kang, leaves Kang there, his older version, jumps through a portal, and basically what you did is you just reset the story into another story. Instead of having a cohesive story now that we can read over issues, you're just going to relaunch it, a new story each time. And normally that wouldn't be a problem, but we already know what the next outcome is going to be. He's going to jump through a portal, and it's going to be a different time. It's like Groundhog's Day with some little twist here and there. I don't really like that kind of storytelling. I think that's it's not a complete thought. It's not a complete story at the end of the day if you could escape your problems by jumping into the future or the past. That's not a complete arc. It's not really a complete story either, for the most part. But all in all, I didn't hate this either. I thought it was kind of interesting the route that they were taking, and taking on this subject of time and multiverses and everything. And the regular person out there like myself, I don't understand this stuff. I just read it for what it is and I accept it, and I try to roll through it so I can get past it. But again, just resetting a story every single time, and having the outcome be ta-da, time, ta-da, multiverse, ta-da, welcome to the holodeck. I don't like that. It's cheap writing, and I feel cheated when I read that. What did you think of it? Oh, real quick, Nick's Kicks and Comics jumps in the room. What's going on, brother? Good to see you here. He's a huge supporter of a lot of the comic book family out there, and he's just a joy to be around. Like, he was interviewed a couple of days ago, and I was like, wow, that's the dude right there. I like that.
He's a joy. He's pleasant. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he sounds pleasant. I picked up the Patrick Gleason cover on that Kang. This is, I mean, it's stating the obvious here. This is a jump point for people who watch Loki and want to know more about Kang. Okay, they're trying to get new readers in here. Like, Kang has a long history in Marvel Comics. Go back in the 60s, so it's kind of like, okay, where do these new readers try to jump in at? Okay, perfect. They do this. They throw it out there for new readers to kick on, because he's supposed to be in, from what I understand, Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man movie is supposed to be part of that, potentially. Yeah. He's part of Loki. And so they're trying to set him up to be the next big bad in the Marvel Universe. Well, we need to have a backstory for the people to go back and try to read the comics. So that's what they're doing here. I like the fact that he's kind of like mentoring and saying, hey, you need to be the conqueror. You're the conqueror. Love has no place at all in here. But we all find out what 18 or 17-year-old boy wants to conquer. And that's that lady. Every 18-year-old boy wants to conquer that lady, and that's what he was wanting to do. He was willing to throw everything away because of that that cave woman that was in there. So we all know where we truly think from. But when he tells her, "Hey, I just destroyed the girl you loved," he just met her. Really, come on. When you're 17,
didn't really destroy her. He just kind of, he did destroy. Yeah, he straight up lit up that village. Yeah.
So, but we all know what we think with, really, when it comes down to it. He didn't want to conquer anything but that cave girl. That was it. Until the older Kang destroyed what he loved, and he says, "Guess what? I'm moving forward. I'm going to start taking control of my life and doing it." Yeah, it was okay. I thought it was going to be a deeper read than what it was. It wasn't very, very deep at all. It's a pretty simple storyline, I think, going forward with it. I read it late at night. I'm like, oh, God, this is going to be so heavy. But it wasn't that bad. So, it's a stash for me. I kind of want to see where it's going because, Kang's another one I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on as in Becky's Silver Age stuff. So it's a good jump on point for me as well. But I don't know what they're going to retcon. Are they going to change certain aspects of it going forward or not? So, but it's a stash.
No doubt.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Austin LeMay's come in. I don't know if you're familiar with his artwork, but that dude, I love watching him draw something and then tell everybody what's wrong with it, because it's still freaking awesome. It's nothing you can tell. He does great stuff. He's on Instagram. And DJ Leaks just jumped in. He just has a channel membership over there and did a great interview tonight with Gorilla Todd. I think we all know Gorilla Todd for his regular auctions and just stuff he's done on YouTube. Learned a lot about him. I didn't know he was a science teacher. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, thanks for swinging in, guys. Appreciate having you here. Miss Mars said something about Eat the Rich. Did you pick that up?
I did pick that up. I figured that was going on in the chat. People were kind of not kind of liking it. So we'll talk about that. I don't know. Did you pick up that book this week?
No, I'm rich. I don't want to read something about
you don't want to find out about something eating one of your own.
Yeah.
So Mars agreed with me too. She goes, "Yeah, he didn't want to conquer anything but that cave girl." And then Double S said, taking a quote from Back to the Future from Marty, huh? This is going to be heavy. Yep. Some of those comics, you turn the first page, you're like, yeah, this is not a comic I'm reading tonight. This is one that's going to be wait until I get 3 cups of coffee in me and hopefully stay awake through it. That's but it wasn't that way. So Eat the Rich by Boom Comics. I picked up the Jenny Frison cover. There was a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 500, I think. And the only difference is like the 1 in 25, like she has bloody gloves, and the 1 in 500, I think, is a virgin cover. So in the story here, we got a boyfriend, girlfriend. The boyfriend's bringing his girlfriend back to see his family. He's trying to explain to her, like, hey, my family's kind of weird. Don't read too much into it. He's kind of hasn't been around there for a long time. As she gets there, she starts, his family's very well off. And she's uncomfortable. So she's actually talking to the help, like the butler or the maid. And they're like, don't talk to him. You do not talk to the servants. You don't talk to any of the people that work for us. You know what?
Do not speak to the peasants.
Do not speak to the peasants. And we find out soon why is because once I believe it's once they're kind of released from duty, they're not like Dobby. They don't get a piece of clothing. Oh, master, love me and go away. No, it's not like that for that. It's not part of the Harry Potter world. We find out that once they're released from service or they retire, they become essentially hunted. And they get killed and they get burned alive and apparently eaten. So that's what they do with their health.
I need to go find this freaking book because that's a great idea. I'm getting kind of tired of my lawn care guy.
Horrible. But yeah, so it's kind of an interesting concept. If you watch that movie, I hate when I do this. I try to think of something on the spot. It's a movie about her marrying into the family. They own a big board game company, and they play a big game after they're married. Kind of remind me a little bit of that. Kind of remind me of the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where they're hunted. A little bit of that too. But overall, I thought this was kind of interesting concept. I did dig it, and it's definitely going to be a stash for me, and I'll be picking up issue 2 on this one for sure.
Damn, I gotta go do that now. Damn.
Miss So says, I'm beginning to think Joey may be Batman who's wealthy, has secret lair, makes his own weapons. Miss So, how's the new shop look?
More like a Lex Luthor.
I thought Eat the Rich was going to be like 80s horror movie society. And we got you chiming in there. And then you said nice Eat the Rich cover there, Huey.
Good stuff.
That's the movie I'm talking about, Ready or Not. That's the one where she marries into that game family, the board game family. They own Parker Brothers or whatever that, and they have to play a game every night or every time that one of their children get married, or they have to play a game. So yeah, it reminded me of that movie too, for sure.
Why not? Sure. Yeah. That's cool.
But it's a sesh.
Y'all want to know about my pick of the week?
I mentioned it
earlier today. So this is kind of a weird book. It's from a company, and I'm not familiar with this company. It's called Blue Juice Comics. Apparently, it's a filming company. I looked them up online, and they got like a little secondary comic book thing going on. Probably been in business since about 2012. But it's called Billy the Kit, and the name fascinated me because I know where the term kit is being used in here. It's an old British term for like a family. So a group of rabbits is not a herd of rabbits. It's a kit of rabbits. Does that make sense?
That's weird. Like I was just watching that movie Hostels today, and the one main character got her whole family killed, and that's what he says. Her whole kit was killed.
Yeah. There you go. So this is cool. When I first looked at the cover, it's a rabbit, and he's got a 6-shooter, and I was like, oh, somebody took Yosabi Jimbo. Is that it?
Usagi Yojimbo?
Yeah, that's it. And they just made it a Western. And then I read this, and I was like, holy crap, this is good. Like, this is legit good. And I know the aspects of it, I like it. So in this, we're kind of dealing with, old school Wild West cowboys and kind of like the samurai philosophies kind of clashing in here, especially when dealing with religion in the first issue, to kind of show the conflict between the master and student in this, because Tornado came and killed Billy's family. Killed them all, right? And then come to find out, he learns that, well, tornadoes are actually these kind of gods, which is very Eastern philosophy kind of based throughout various of their stories. So, he's like, well, train me. And the goat's like, no, you can't help monsters. You're scared. And he's like super religious in this thing. And then you get like a secondary story in the back where like he's grown up, right? Like hard life. He's dropping tornadoes and other evil gods or whatever. And I love this. And I put the book down and I'm like, why do I like this so much? And I don't know this writer. His name's J.V. Gray. I'm not familiar with this writer's work, but this cat understands because they kind of mentioned in the story that they're in the Texarkana area of Texas. And those cats out that way have a very unique Texas accent. And that is what is used in this book as the way that they speak. And it's very beautifully done. Like you could hear the voices in your head. Everybody has their own voice in this. It's very characterized, very deep. And I love this book. I can't tell you how much I'm just like, oh my God, it's a fresh take on kind of an interesting topic, something that I'm very much interested in, fair, but you kind of throw it into like this Kong samurai, Western, 6-shooter. It's great. It's great. That's all I got to say. I just love this book, and I can't speak enough about it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get an issue 2 of this because it was just by chance that this was even in my comic book shop this week. So I may have to order that one online. But definitely, if you can get a hold of this, I would recommend reading it. It's a great book.
Billy the Kit.
Yeah.
Mars was asking what the comic was.
Oh, yeah. Billy the Kit. Yeah, it's great. And this is a 1 per store variant, and it was only $5.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm buying that. Heck yeah. And it was, he said he had 2. Not 2 1 per store covers. He had one, this, and then like one of their trade dress normal covers. Only 2 books came in. And he was like, I didn't even order these. They were just in the box. And I was like, psh, heck yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the book. I got the whole run. It's like 6 or 7 issues. I think it's by Aftershock. And it's a samurai book, but it has to do all the characters are frogs or lizards, and the different families fighting. It kind of reminded me of something like that, you know, where they're taking the animals and putting in place of the humans and stuff. So, let's not talk about sex, but let's talk about Tremors. God of Tremors. God of Tremors by Aftershock. This is one of those big books. Which I don't know. I kind of like, but I bet you it was $10 or $12 for it, and it's just a one shot. Actually, it's only $7. Wow, that's even better. I like it even more. So it's just a one shot. It starts out. It is in. Does it say the year? It's in like the late 1800s. It has to do with this family. The father is a preacher or a minister or I guess a priest in the Catholic Church, and his wife and his only son. Well, his son is suffering from seizures. Well, back then, you know, what do you think seizures were? Especially if him being a priest, I think it's some kind of demonic. Yeah, so it's some kind of demonic possession, and he thinks he needs to beat it out of his child. And so every time he has a seizure, you know, the first time he had it in school, they ended up pulling out of school because he was such an embarrassment to himself because he ended up peeing himself and I think falling to the floor, ended up hitting his head. And so they were making fun of him, and so they pulled him from school and kind of kept him locked in the castle or the home. And the father continues to beat the kid, but the kid's kind of getting this feeling like something's out there, a little different. So he ends up going, when his dad's away, he ends up getting away from the house, getting away from the guy who's supposed to be watching him, and goes to the woods and finds this big, almost like a tiki god-looking kind of like throne out in the middle of the woods, and that's the god of Tremors. That's what he's saying. So he thinks he needs to be able to go. The god of Tremors is saying, hey, you belong to me. You know, you don't belong to your god, you know, because you're god of Tremors. And so the dad's still continuing to beat him mercifully. He's trying to get away from it. The mom, of course, at that particular time, too, women didn't have much of a voice in any kind of relationship when it came to dealing with the kids or against their husband. So she tried to take him to see a doctor in town, you know, without her husband knowing. And the husband finds out because the doctor said to you, hey, you know, I can't have your wife going against your husband. I had to let him know. And so he ended up having his wife thrown inside an insane asylum. and then his dad goes out with a sledgehammer to break up this god of tremors. But as he's breaking it apart, like shards of this throne, I mean, they're not, the throne's not coming apart, but the shards are going through his eyes where he can't see, and his dad ends up getting killed out and attacked by the forest. So, and then the mom moves on and finds a professional at the end of the book, to go try to get his seizure diagnosed and try to be treated versus being whipped and beaten. But like the dad himself is like he's a priest and he's looking at nudie pics and beating himself in the back, because he's like, yeah, I'm sinful. Wow, wow,
So
doing
he
that
was
whole
like
thing.
a Jesuit type of thing. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
So it's one shot. I mean, definitely like this kind of like story. I wasn't sure where they were going with the God of Tremors. I figured it was a medical thing, because back then they used to do bloodletting and all that stuff to try to cure ailments. The leeches. They still use leeches once in a while, but but yeah, that kind of stuff. But they're trying to think, oh, it's demonic. It's Satan, possessing my child, and so I must beat Satan out of him. So for $7, it's a big book. It's a good read. I mean, definitely, I think that more value than any other Batman book we have going on right now. Because you're paying $5 for Batman, you're paying $7 for this. You're getting a lot more story and a different story that not somebody's written either. So it's a stash for me. Definitely, if you like this kind of story, pick it up for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got to talk about something now.
Yeah, you got to do something.
Let's talk about
$7, little man. Put that shit in my hand.
Hey, why is that not on the YouTube channel?
What?
It's in our chat, but it's not in the channel. That's weird.
What's on our chat? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Double S's comment. Like, we can see it in our comments, but if you look at the channel, it's not popping up over there.
Huh.
It's weird. Yeah, that's weird. It didn't pop up over there. Okay, anyway, so Second Chances. Did you pick this up?
I did. Make sure did you pick up Superman and the Authority?
No, I did not. I did not pick up.
Okay, I have it. I didn't read it. Legion was asking about it, but go ahead with your Second Chances. I'll give you a second chance on that.
Oh, thank you. So this is really cool. We got this kind of grayscale art in it, right? So if you like that kind of thing, even if you don't like that kind of thing, this is very highly stylized in it, and I very much like it. So this is a noir type story about a character who gives people a second chance. So you screwed something up in your life, and you need to disappear. So he fakes your death, gives you new credentials, moves you to a new location. That's kind of his company's thing, right? And of course, he had to help out a friend one time, and that's not working out well because his friend's a fuck up. Like, he just keeps fucking up. He's that friend that we all have, I would think, that just constantly fucks things up, right? No matter what his deal is. But you're always loyal to your friends. So that this time he can't get to him in time because there's an assassination out on him. And it's not going very well. And whoever planned this assassination, not only were they planning to kill him, but they kind of took advantage of brainwashing his daughter to kind of go after him as well. It's a very noir detective type story thing going on, but it's very action packed, like a hero story would be. So I absolutely love that. I love a good noir detective type story. But then the amount of action in here, I get all the excitement from like a regular superhero type story. So best of both worlds in it. I wish it was in color, but again, I don't mind this kind of the art styling in it. It's very unique. And it definitely makes me think. So I definitely like this. I would recommend this. It was a good story.
I think Mike would absolutely hate it because he doesn't like black and white comics. It would be a blast from him, I think, just based off that. But I don't think color would have did it justice. I think that would have muddied it up too much. I think that black and white tone is what made this comic better, I believe. Just having that grayscale in black and white versus having all this colored up. Overall, I thought it was a good story. Like you said, it had the drama, it had the action, so it had all those little pieces right there that I think that fit in well. Is it one that I'm going to be like somebody? Oh yeah, this is awesome. I want to see it. I want to pick up issue 2. No, it's not really. I don't think it grabbed me that much. Don't be issue 2. So, but I do kind of want to know.
It's almost like you don't like
Who's?
reading good comic books. It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, whatever, whatever. Is this his? That's his old girlfriend, I guess. Maybe there with the leather pants and that sniper
That's what I'm
rifle.
assuming. They've had some sort of relationship. Yeah, but I when I
Yeah,
put that in my
I
review, I
want.
wasn't exactly sure.
I kind of want to know more about her,
I
but
bet you
not really
do.
know those story about those stories. So, I do need to. Um, I got to get something up and ready to go for Mike that I needed to do tonight. So, will you talk about another book real quick while I grab this picture?
Sure.
Okay.
I just don't know what book you're going to talk about.
I don't know it either. I don't know either.
So this is my first official blast this week, and it's a shame that it has to be this story, but it's War of the Bounty Hunters. I got a blast this one this week because I don't know why. I think it just kind of our characters aren't acting like the characters we know. If you're going to use a known character, there's just certain traits to that character that make them that character. I understand things change over time. I totally get that. I understand that, and I can even respect that. But in this one, it's just so out of character. So if you've been kind of following the series, you know that Boba Fett kind of met up with Princess Leia, Chewbacca, and that little group there. And there's Dr. Afra's there to steal something, and this Crimson Guard lady that looks like a 12-year-old grown woman is kind of having an auction, and Han Solo encased in his Corbinite is up there. Or is it Corbinite? What is it?
Carbonite? Yeah, carbonite.
Carbonite. That's it. Right? And we know Jabba the Hutt won the auction, but Vader shows up and is like, no, I don't think so. I'm taking the body. In this issue, it picks right up there, and he's like, you got a problem with that? You know, Jabba? Like, seriously, I'll choke slam you right here, right now, like throat cancer. You need to watch your mouth. Right? So Jabba backs down because, you know, nobody wants a piece of Vader, right? Except for this 12-year-old Crimson Guard leader. She's like, no, Vader. And she's got, you know, the lightsaber things. And she's like, I'm going to jack your shit up, right? So they're going to fight. And for some reason, Vader in the middle of this fight is like, I can respect your skills. And I'm like, why would Vader, like, that's not Vader. Vader does not respect anything, especially in this timeline of where this story's going on. He just kind of shows up and just like chokes you out or slices you up or whatever the case may be, right? Like, that's his thing. But for some reason, he's like, oh, Crimson Guard lady, you're super cool at swinging lights around, so I got to respect. And I'm like, really, player? Really? Like, you're Vader. It kind of took him out of character. Also, Boba Fett kind of got taken out of character in this, too. And I was like, these are, like, we expect things when we know characters well. And I get things have to change over time. I can't clarify that enough. But there are just some things that are normal. Vader is a villain and does not give a shit about you and does not respect you in any way. You are nothing more than something in his way that needs to go away. But apparently, and I'm starting to get this thing now that this is not a Boba Fett story anymore. We're just going to get introduced to this new character, and we're getting the old bait and switch in comic books, and it's annoying. And that's why I'm blasting it this week. So, yeah. And please don't hate me for that. The name of the show is Blastin or Stashin. It's what we do here.
You have a couple new people. This is
Shattered Glass.
Verona. Yeah, the Pirate Hunter, and then we have Shattered Glass, and we also have Austin Lemmy in here as well. He said, "Do you have me at leather pants and sniper rifle?" Yeah,
it's Austin Lemay. He's the one I talked about already. I'm not sure who this Zero, the Pirate Hunter guy is. Apparently, he's bored. It's a thing. And I just saw the other. Who else? Oh, yeah, Tyler. He's from Whack Comics. They're doing a contest right now for their 1,000 subs. I recommend doing the Daddy's Toy Chest competition because that's fun.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this Truth and Justice #7. So these are just like one-shot stories. The last one had to do with the Damien. You picked up this one as well? Oh, yeah. You picked up that Zatanna cover, too. That's the main reason I picked it up. Was for that
I have a quick
Zatanna.
question before we dive into this, and please discuss this in the chat. Is her name really Zatanna, or is it Anna Taz?
Oh man, what are you doing?
Right? That just happened, right? The light bomb just went off.
Yeah, there's sometimes I definitely when I'm reading Zatanna book when she's casting her spell, it takes me like a little bit to kind of like, okay, I need to read this backwards. It's a little annoying sometimes. But like I said, main reason I picked it up was that cover right there. Nice Zatanna fishnet cover. Gotta love it. Not as good as some Adam Hughes Zatanna, but or how do you say it was
Anna Taz. Her name is Anna Taz. She's a spell.
Yeah.
And I just screwed comic book lore.
This
forever.
is Dream, a Little Dream. That's the name of this story here. Zatanna wakes up and she's kind of she's not in her normal place. She's trying to figure out where she is. Then she finds out she's in this dream world that's controlled by this kid. Anything he sought up, it's there. She tries to use her magic spells, but none of them are working. Follows the kid and then ends up falling like a pit. And here's another character in there, a female character. They're kind of having some dialogue back and forth. They both fall to a pit. And here's a guy character about the same age showing up. They have some dialogue back and forth. It's kind of weird how it's going. And then we get this Skeletor character, the Mr. Destiny. Is that his name?
Yeah, Mr. Destiny.
Dr. Destiny. Dr. Destiny. And then we just find out he just Bill Cosby'd her. That's what it was. He spiked her drink. She was in a dream state. She was being controlled. And she was her dreams were being manipulated by this character of Dr. Destiny, which he finally realizes. It kind of wakes up. She ends up throwing the bottle out. And, to hear Dr. say, "Oh, curse you!" And he does that at the end kind of thing. "I'll get you." Almost very Skeletor-esque, But overall, I say the main reason I bought it was just for the cover. The story itself is kind of whatever. I don't really care much about it. The Zatanna's only a sex object to me, apparently. I don't like this. I don't like this full-on pant suit magician costume. I like the fishnets. Maybe that's just her new thing going forward, not to be sexualized. I don't know.
That's a very toxic opinion there. You male.
It is. Yeah. Male chauvinist a-hole. But overall, stories, whatever. The cover's awesome. That's where the stash is, but the story's a blast. What about you, Joe? What do you think of Dr. Destiny?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this kind of dreamscape thing. The whole kid thing, that's a straight ripoff from, what was it? The Outer Limits, where they did like the short, spurts in the movie, and the kids in the house and all the parents listen to them. That's just a straight rip from that. For the most part, I don't like imagination in the minds and dreams type story because there's no structure to the story. It can pretty much just do whatever it wants, and then all of a sudden it's like, but the ending, her finding out that she was in like a dream was, how something and then you have a hunch about something, right? There was no hunch phase. She just knew, and I was like, that's weird. And she knew exactly what to do. She figured it out, and there was no clues on how she figured it out. She just knew. So old Anna Taz here, I just thought it was.
I'm gonna call her that.
That's what I'm calling her from now on. Her name's Anna Taz. But for the most part, I thought it was poorly written. I did, and it was a blast for me as well. It was just like a aha moment in a comic book, and I hate that. That's just cheap writing. And there's like a few. I don't know who's editing over at DC and some of these other places, but if they're for some reason watching this show and you would love an amateur editor to come in and just look over your shit and ask a couple of questions and really piss off your writers, I would be more than happy to volunteer my time to do it, because like you had great opportunity and you just let it go. So yeah.
Just to throw this out there, you called me a sexist pig for, hey, I gotta have the fishnets. I don't want no Clinton pantsuit. I want the fishnets.
Right.
The two ladies in the chat both agree with me on that, so I can't be that sexist of a person.
You are. I'm sorry about your luck. I don't know what to tell
But
you. We don't talk bad
Nick's
about our viewers here. We talk bad about the host here.
Nick's Kicks and Comics likes it too. So I'm not alone in this chat. So I appreciate you having my back on that. And tell Joe to shut the hell up. So fishnets are greater than fire spray.
There you go.
Sounds stinkly like a adult film or something.
Porter's hides in the room. Welcome, sir. Thank you for swinging by.
Just because you love them doesn't mean you should wear them. Thank you, Porter's Hide. I appreciate that. You can't see what I got going on down here. I don't keep the camera that low. I can only picture you wearing them, my sweet. I don't know who he's talking about there. And there's fishnets. Dude, the fishnet is going off in the chat. I brought up that Zatanna book, The Truth and Justice, number 7, but now you're up. Whoo, man, that is bad.
Didn't you have a video for us or something? You were working on
a video. I do. Let me show you that real quick. So since Mike is not here tonight, he did send me. I'm gonna get that off there. I don't want that hashtag pegging up there. Sick bastards. Mike, since Mike couldn't be here tonight, yes, Horderside, that did escalate very quickly. Since Mike could not be here tonight, he said, "Hey," I said, "Hey, do you have anything from Clarence with a K? He had anything new this week?" And he said, "No, but I do have my meat and potatoes." So he sent me a quick little video of his meat and potatoes for this week. I'll go and show that real quick, like. All my friends are eating steak and snow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Now we're getting copyright strike. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. So that is his meat and potato pick for the week. It's going to be worth
$1 million.
So, so it'll take a moment to acclimate us to us, Yuri. So, you're up there, Joe. What do you got? I only got 2 more books this week.
I got like a whole stack plus free comic book day stuff. So
I got tons of free comic book day stuff, but I haven't read any of that.
Yeah, I've read everything. I'm a nerd. Did you read Amazing Spider-Man this week? Sinister Wars?
No, I dropped that Spencer crap.
So Sinister Wars it's in line with Amazing Spider-Man, but it is the superior story because I'm getting kind of bored with the regular Spider-Man thing. I was going to say Superman again. God, I got to stop drinking. But then I got to go to meetings. I don't have time for that shit. So, in this one, it's basically just Spider-Man getting it handed to him by all these teams. Every type of team you can think of. They're all pigeonholed with their own kind of characteristics. You got kind of the cartoony, jokey ones. You got like the Savage, the accentuated Savage. And then you got like the old school and everything. And then at the end, you get like the zombified ones, right? Sin Eater's back. He's got Juggernaut, Tornado, all these characters that have died. And, of course, Kindred brings back. And we all know how I feel about the whole Kindred thing. I thought that was a cheap thing to do, making it an Osborn. When you had such a great idea, you could have let that character stand on its own. But, hey, apparently you don't have editors, so screw it. But going into this, this was just Peter Parker getting it handed to him, the entire issue. That's all this was, just getting it handed to him. And then, like, Kindred in the background saying, you'll pay for your sins. A little dark, a little sinister. But then again, that's why it's called Sinister Six. So I'm actually stashing this. And this is the first secret, or I'm not secret, but the Sinister Wars is about the only thing that I really like Spider-Man in it right now. The regular storyline just bores me. This has been killing it, and I'll keep picking this up, especially if I keep getting these kind of remind me of the G.I. Joe covers. Remember back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Where it has all this great
the cards on the back of the action figures.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of that. So that's pretty cool. And of course, I got my favorite Spider-Man villain on this one. I'm a huge fan of Kraven the Hunter. So yeah.
Okay. I really don't know why I'm continuing to pick up this book. And
Gotta blast something. Every week we gotta blast something.
yeah. It's just because I don't know what's going on, and that is really normal for Tom King. He wants to keep you in that suspense area. He doesn't want to give you everything up which can be a cool concept. I like that to some degree, but his stuff is just, I don't know. So that's Batman, Catwoman number 6. Still, we're not really move forward anything to really what's going on in the story. We're still getting like 3 separate stories. We're getting the timeline of old Selina and her daughter. We're getting the timeline of Joker and the younger Selina. And we're getting the timeline of Batman and Phantasm. And so it bounces around between, like, is Batman dead? We don't know if Batman's dead. Because I know in that one Batman Annual 2 for the Rebirth stuff, Bruce Wayne's dead and they have a daughter together. And I don't know if that's part of that universe where Batman's dead. I don't know. But we have Batman and Joker wanting to decorate the Christmas tree because it's over there barren. And so Joker's like, hey, yeah, we should decorate that. Okay. And then we get the story of old Selina and her daughter asking, hey, did you kill the Joker? And she doesn't want to really tell her, you know. But so they decided to go out and fight crime together. And here we go. We got old Catwoman headed out to fight some crime. She reminds me of the Watchmen, where that one lady's older and ended up going out fighting crime. But I'll tell you what, I'll give it up to her because, man, I don't know how old she is near. What, 65 maybe? I don't know, but she wears that page. Man, she can do the splits still. I'll give her that right there. The art in here is great, but the story itself is just bouncing around way too much. I want a little more closure. I want a little more in each issue. For me personally, I feel like I need to have a little bit more of what's going on. I feel like it's just not enough for me. I'll continue to pick it up just because I want to finish this run up, and hopefully I'll have that great big awesome reveal at the end of this story arc. Joe is sicker than hell. He's over there.
That's allergies. Where our fig tree is blossoming right now, and apparently I'm allergic to it.
So, everybody's talking about that they're still.
Yeah, you're pretty much alone on this one. Like everybody's
I'm pretty much alone, which is weird because I think most people are
grumpy.
The Chaos in Comics says no more hating, only love. Simply a story of Selina's profiling her personality type through different times so far. Yeah, I get that, but I feel like I want a little bit more closure, a little more headed to where we're going with it. Chaos in Comics like Batcat too, and so did Chip. Man, what the hell? Am I all by myself?
My biggest King's writing as a whole, and I don't think he's a bad writer. I just think he's a bad deliverer. I know that doesn't make sense, but let me run down this path for a second. His story ends, right? When he's ready to end his story, the big climax is only like a few panels, a few words. It's very shortly done. It's very compactualized. But then we get this emotional kind of, and it's always a middle-aged or older middle-aged, crisis moment that they go through. I'm not saying that that's not interesting every now and then, but that's Tom King's writing. When he picks up a book, that's what you're going to read. It doesn't matter if it's Adam Strange. It doesn't matter if it's when he did his run on Batman. It's always relationship and conflict in the relationship. And honestly, it's just a little too much real world for me. Like I read comic books because they're fantastic. They're an exaggeration of life, not real life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at somebody had called me. Chaos in Comics says the same thing. It's firmly in Tom King's time jump era. Batcat, Strange Adventures, Rorschach all have massive time jumps and time jump studies. So, Yep, for sure. But I do want to go back to Miss So's comics and our comment. It says it's important to stay flexible as we age, Dave. Doing a little yoga, making sure you're flexible enough to go kick some ass. Just like, where Catwoman in there too, she's like the older Selina was saying that, oh, this was fun. And her daughter's like, it's not fun, Mom, it's justice. So they had a totally different opinion on on what it is. So, you're up, Joe.
Let's talk about. Okay, did you read Legends of the Dark Knight?
No, that came out last week, didn't it?
I picked it up Wednesday.
I thought that was the one with. I'm thinking of the other one where the Tim Drake character comes out.
It's Batman. It's very easy to get confused. He's like, I get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Batman out there. All right, so this kind of takes place. So basically, the rundown of this: Penguin Cobblepot, right? Old money family. He's at an auction and he's very dedicated on getting this box. Bruce Wayne realizes Penguin wants it, so what does he do? Of course, he outbids him, gets it. Come to find out, there was a little bit of some wrongdoing done back in the early 1900s, where Penguin's, I'm gonna assume grandfather because of the age time, right? The time frame. May have assaulted one of his mates. Right? This happened. So they go to court, and Thomas or Wayne is like the judge, and they're all rich. So at the end, it's the elbow poke. Hey, I got you, bro. King, right? Takes care of them, and nothing ever happens in the court case. So then the maid goes around and apparently drops 5 bodies. One of them being Cobblepot, one of them not being Wayne, and that's in the book. Like me and another guy had a discussion about these. Like, no, he killed the judge too, and I was like, no. Go back and read it. Didn't kill the judge, even though, because it's a Wayne, right? You can't kill the Wayne, because then Batman wouldn't exist, right? That he didn't kill the Wayne, but drops a couple other bodies. So I was like, why did she drop the other 4 bodies? What was the reasoning behind that? And they kind of do this narrative thing where they're kind of hinting that she was like a vigilante, protecting the other maids from this kind of stuff happening to her, and that's fine. I get it. It's a vigilante story, but then why not just explode that story and let it happen? Why have it kind of a tongue-in-cheek assumption in the story? Because that would have been interesting instead of just 5 murders, one of them being Cobblepot, and then some other random rich dudes. I didn't really get that. You could have chased this down a little bit better, flushed this out, and actually told us an interesting story. Instead, you focused on the, hey, kill the rich guys because they're pretty much doing whatever they want. And I was like, that's not fair, right? It's not fair. That's not equal. That's bullshit. And I didn't much care for that. But for the most part, it was an okay story. How Batman came up with it is complete woo-woo. I did not like that at all. I don't know how his holographic deck, and I hate holographs, the holodecks. I hate that concept where they could walk around a crime scene and it's telling the story. How does the computer know to do that? That's woo-woo. That's bullshit. You should have used some, I don't know, detectives there, world's greatest detective. That would have made some sense. Jump around to some scenes, find some clues. So really, this was just a quick story to sit there and say, hey, rich guys do bad things and they don't go to jail for them. That's how the story came off. I'm not saying that that's what the writer was trying to do. I'm just a reader passively reading the comic book. And I thought that was kind of just, a cheap shot. And I don't think that was fair, nor do I think it was accurate in any way. If you're going to tell the story, then tell the story. Stop with this tongue-to-cheek assessment because you don't like that somebody has more than you. That's bullshit and it's garbage.
Well, what if they send drones in there ahead of time and they take 360 views of everything? Aren't you able to walk into it? They know the technology we have now.
In this story, the drones would have to travel back in time to the 1800s to determine that they would have had to have done that, and they didn't do that in this story. There's no crime scene from the 1800s. It's modern day, right? So there's from my picture, you can't pull a 3-dimensional model out of it. I don't care how sophisticated your computer is.
Chaos says Aerosmith's song called "Kill the Rich." I thought it was "Eat the Rich," but that might be "Kill the Rich." Earlier, I remember my dad saying the song saying "effing hypocrites." Yeah, "Eat the Rich." He corrected himself right there. Batman. Joe doesn't have time for AI. Chip. No time for AI. My last book that I read this week, and this is one of the ones I read at night. Remember I was talking about that, reading it at night and kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, now you read it, right?
And I tried to flip through it before the show to get it, before the show to get it refresher on it. And that's Shazam #2. At the last issue, Shazam was losing his powers. One of his adopted brothers was dying. The Rock of Gibraltar, is that right?
Eternity.
Rock of Eternity. Why am I saying Gibraltar?
I have no idea. I don't even know what Gibraltar is. I think that's a city,
Okay.
actually, someplace.
Okay, whatever. The big rock that gives them power was moved in hell, so they end up going to hell to figure out what happened to the rock and why he's losing his power. As they're in hell, of course, where's hell but in a casino in Vegas? Perfect spot. A lot of Sin stuff going on there, Sin City. So they end up getting some trouble with the head of the casino. Billy Batson ends up meeting this hot demon girl, which I guess she's kind of attracted to.
Yeah, she was hot. She was in hell.
Yeah. Oh, ta-da, they end up getting in a big fight, and Dane ends up coming back to protect him as Shazam's he has his powers, but kind of losing them. That's still happening a little bit, and now we're getting the no, because Chaos says he's literally in a casino in Vegas right now. Then why the hell are you watching us? You'd be gambling your money away.
Whatever, man.
It's only 4 issues long, though. But part of me wants to just buy the other 2 issues just to finish the story up because the concept was kind of interesting. I have to go back and read this again. So it's a soft stash for me. It's not one of the. Do I want to do the video? Where's my video? There it is. So it's a whiskey dick issue for me. It's one of the ones like, okay, I'll finish picking the other 2 up just to finish the story out. I don't think it's connecting anything bigger in the DC universe. I think it's connecting to Teen Titans Academy, but I'm not really reading that either. So, and watching comic YouTube. Nice. Well, we definitely appreciate that. Put it on black. Bet on black for us. I don't know. I don't gamble. So. Joe's a gambler.
Yeah, you do. You've gambled. I've been in a casino with you.
Yeah, after you gave me your $20 to gamble with, I wasn't going to gamble any of my money away, and I lost it all. I lost your whole $20. I think I was up to 28.
Yeah, that's right. You owe me $20, and with a year-long VIG at 5%, that's quite a bit of money.
The juice has been running. The juice has been running for a year.
You want to start paying that off.
I wake up in the morning and I have somebody at my doorstep getting ready to bust my kneecaps. I know the Pokane sent somebody there to get his $23. Because the juice has been running.
All right.
Go ahead there, Joe. What do you think of Shazam?
I didn't think this was a whiskey dick issue. I think this answered a lot of questions. Remember, this is a tie-in to 2 different storylines. Future state, right? Why Shazam was in future state, why he's always stuck as the adult now because Billy Batson's stuck in hell. And also, of course, Teen Titans as well, where this Dean character, nobody knew what he could do. We knew he had powers and stuff, but apparently his alter ego, if you will, is Nevermore, which is like an angel because he's got the wings and the flaming sword, which is very reminiscent to what Genesis, the story of Genesis with the angel and the flaming sword, right? It's very reminiscent of that. So in this, it's very interesting how they kind of have this 1960s casino thing going on. We kind of understand that hell's been owned or this portion of hell's been kind of ruled by different people over a short period of time. The Rock of Eternity's down there someplace. Somebody knows where it's at. They're going to try to go to it. And then you get the little scuffle that happens that unleashes our Nevermore character. This is whimsical, and I love good whimsy. This is right up there with Super Sons for me. Just that it's playing with concepts, it's playing with characters. The characters are extremely individualized. Again, when you read them, you don't even have to look at the panel, and just by the way that they're talking and the way they're doing things, you know which character it is. It's truly unique on its own right. So I absolutely enjoyed this. This was good for me. Thank you for the whimsy. I like whimsy.
The whimsy. Just buy him some comics when you visit Virginia, Dave. Debt settled.
Yeah, I know which one you're gonna buy too, son.
Oh, you're gonna do that to me, huh? Okay. That's it. Those are the books I read. We can get ready to go to lightning round here. I'm trying to find something else real quick. Like,
Shoot the lightning, son.
where is it? Where I thought I saved it. I thought I saved it. Apparently, I didn't save it. I got to go back and find it again. Go ahead and do your.
Want me to do a lightning round?
Yeah, go ahead and do your lightning round while I'm looking for this.
All right. So, an adaptation of Michael Moorcock's Elric came out. I love Elric. I think it's a great story, and this picks up in the perfect place for it because the beginning of this particular story can be a little drawn out. And even the middle can too, but this picks it up during the quest. So it's a basic quest story about an albino elf king that's been dethroned, and he's got to go find the magical MacGuffin thing. It's just a fun read, but it's not terribly new. But for an adaptation, updating it with the artwork and everything in it, I thought it was great.
Sound like he's been stripped of all his privileges.
Yeah. He's basically got it's like some forms of royalty, like there's some dukes and stuff like that. Everybody's got a thing about them, and the red shirts have got to die in it, and that's what happened in this. So it was a good story. Dollar comic book day. Of course, I picked up Batman #1. I thought for the most part this was okay. We learned more about how the fear gas exactly works. I find that interesting. I don't mind that part of the story. And then the I Am Batman character, of course, we're going to launch off on that. And for the most part, that was a meh at best. Spider-Man and Venom, basic, we're going to talk to you about Eddie Brock some more. That's it. Suicide Squad, King Shark, he's got to go home, go through his trials so he can one day rule Atlanta. But he's got to take this girl who used to date Nightwing, and basically her superpower is she's really good with spray paints because she's a vandalizer. So this is the best I got for you there. Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if you've ever seen Trailer Park Boys out there or watched an episode of it. It is a fantastically, geniusly written show in its own right. Like the humor is unique. The situations are unique, even though they repeat them, but it is what it is. And this follows that kind of path of the show. So if you haven't read it, definitely fun. We Live. I know a lot of people love We Live. It's their thing. I dropped off after issue 2 because there was this other things I was interested in at the time. So if you follow We Live, this story may be important to you, but to me, it didn't really mean much. I thought it was a good story, though, and a lot of heart in it. I think that's what the main attraction for that book is. House of Slaughter. Hey, in organizations, believe it or not, like a House of Slaughter, military unit, corporation, various individuals have different rankings. We found out House of Slaughter does that too. You're not surprised? You're not surprised? Neither was I. The Boys, Hero-gasm. It's legit the reprinting of Hero-gasm. If you got kids in the house, don't let them read this. Avengers. This was interesting. So, like, Hulk's doing his thing where he wants to get away from everybody. So what does he do? He wants to steal a spaceship. How does he steal a spaceship? He breaks into AIM and kills everybody. Like, just Hulk smash everything and everybody. And I'm like, why isn't Avengers telling more of this story in their main storyline instead of whatever that garbage is they're doing now that we never pick up anymore? And just for shits and giggles, I picked up the 1 in 100 of the Batman Special Edition cover because I liked the cover. These were cover buys for me, even though I swore I would never cover buy again. And, of course, I had to get that King Shark one, him jumping out of the water.
I didn't even know there was like a variant on those.
Yeah, 1 in 100 variants. I was like, yeah, I'll pick them up. It's New Comic Book Day. I didn't really buy anything. They had cake and coffee. And, of course, I don't like paying for things. So I ate as much as I could and then felt guilty. So I bought those.
That it for your lightning round? Yep. So I've got a lot of those free comic book day ones. I haven't read any of them yet. I did pick up this Superman the Authority #2. Haven't read it yet. I know Legion was asking about it in our live chat when we were there, but unfortunately I haven't read it. Picked up Bunny Mask #3. Picked up Eve #2. I picked up Fight Girls #2. Found that in another store. And then Hellboy and the BPRD. It's The Secret of Chesbro House, issues 1 and 2. So those are the ones that I've read. I said I got a whole stack of free comic book today back there, but haven't got to those yet. Seeing what was going on in the chat. As Miss So said, buy comics for Joe when we go to Virginia. So, yes, here it is. Mike made this up here. September 2021. There goes the neighborhood where I will be flying out towards the end of September 21st. I will be in South Carolina for a couple days and then headed up to you guys. We're planning on doing a live show of our reviews, which I got to pick up comics on my way through, apparently at different stores, and try to read them on those 2 days before we go live on that. So
rough.
yeah. So I'll have time in the hotel or whatever to kick back and read, but it's got to find some comic book stores. So that's the only thing. I'll probably just toss them in my GPS as I'm driving and try to hit them on the way there and the way up to you guys and try to read them all through. So, let's see here. Okay, so we used to play golf and the loser had to wear the Brony shirt to work. Dude, I wear my Brony shirt to the gym. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Watch out. He'll crawl your ass.
But I will not wear my Brony shirt with my fishnets. That's crossing the line. I will not do that. I one or the other. Won't do it. Marcia, I said I was not going to pick up Bunny Mask anymore, but then I did. So, any more things before we bounce out of here tonight?
So,
Joe?
yeah. First off, all you in the chat, thank you for coming. Love having you here. Super happy that you're here. Definitely sub each other up, watch each other's channels. Everybody's putting up great content. Thank you all for coming. The Thor Hammer video, I should have that done this weekend. That's going to go out there. I'm very impressed with our musical guest on this one. I think everybody's going to enjoy it. And then we're launching right into the next build where we're going to build a laser. Not just one. We may end up building 2 because I came up with a really great idea and it's stuck in my head. And if I don't put it out there, my wife's got to hear about it for 20 years. And she doesn't like me that much to begin with. So she don't want to hear that bullshit. So, and always subscribe because we're going to be doing some stuff while Huey's here. A lot of crazy stuff. Maybe not everything's going to be comic book related. We may do some other crazy stuff. So definitely, Mikey loves to go live just randomly. So check us all out. Definitely some cool things coming along the way. We're going to have some fun, and we want you to join us. So definitely.
Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow. That way, if we are going live just in the random middle of the day in a comic book store or whatever we're doing, you'll catch it. So definitely check that. So Miss So wants to know, are we going to have a sleepover with pillow fights and doing each other's hair once Dave is there?
Yeah, and fishnets. Lots of fishnets.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they said they're going to squish into a queen-size bed. And Miss So's looking forward to the laser project. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Mars says, great show, guys. But I missed Mike. Crazy Mike. Clarence with a K. His speculations segment is actually growing pretty good there. But yeah, definitely thank everybody for coming by tonight. Chat was popping pretty good. We had quite a bit of feedback, quite a bit of stuff going on, quite a few jokes, which I love the jokes. I love being able to go off the rails and talk about something. I'm not going to do any of those hashtags, though. I'm not going to be sharing any of those hashtags.
The promo for the laser project that I'll launch, just know it's my usual thing where there's a lot of inside jokes for it. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. A lot of new and older, just our inside joking type stuff. So I hope you all enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people new in the chat don't even know some of our old inside jokes.
Yeah, like Pigman. And you know what? I found out all of our inside jokes deal with you, and sometimes I feel bad about that.
No, not all with me. We had some with Jeremy too. We had some the teriyaki mist. Logan being all Logan-y was another one. No, we had some other ones besides me, but let's go ahead and bounce on out of here. We thank everybody for coming by and interacting with us in the chat, and we'll see you next Friday night. Yes. One more thing. Oh my Lord, yes.
One more thing, since I wasn't sure if he was still in the room. Austin LeMay, I may need an artist for a project. If you're down, I'll DM you. But I get, if you're busy or whatever, I totally get it. But I may need an artist because Blaster Stashin may be doing a variant cover for one of our local comic books down here. And apparently the artist is kind of upset about this. And I was like, well, screw you. Me and the writer are tight. I'll get my own artist. So if that's something you're interested in, and like this is a paid gig, like I'm not expecting a favor or anything. So definitely want to kind of see if you're available, because that was the first name in my head for it. So yeah, that would be really cool. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll definitely shoot you a link. But if you're not going to hurt any feelings or anything like that. I don't want you to be all weird about it.
Joe will just cry in the off air. We've seen him do it numerous times. As soon as they get out of here, he's bawling. He's wondering if he did good enough. He's never sure of himself. I mean, he never shows that confidence on the air. Ever.
Never.
Later, guys. We'll be blasting with a stash. Happy reading. Catch you guys next week.